I handed a stranger my sanitary pad, and I did that with a smile on my face. My name doesn't matter. What matters is that I am a 28-year-old woman living in Accra who has made decisions I cannot take back. Life in this city does not forgive weakness. It does not forgive desperation, and it certainly does not warn you when you are walking straight into your own doing. My brother is at the University of Ghana, Legon. He is everything to me. Every morning I wake up thinking about his peace, his upkeep, his future. He is the reason I get out of bed in a house where there is sometimes nothing to eat. He is my pride. He is also the reason I lowered my guard when I should have run. My baby daddy is in prison. He will be there for a very long time. I knew what he did at night. I prepared his clothes. I saw the knives. I never asked questions. Fear has a way of making you silent. When he was arrested, the little stability I had collapsed overnight. I was left with nothing but a child and a struggling mother. I tried everything, OJ. I sold what little he had left behind. Old phones, things that should never have been in our house. But money runs out fast in a city like Accra. I was sit in my house at Medina and stare at the ceiling, wondering how long I could keep pretending things were fine before everything falls apart completely. That was when I went back to the app. I had deleted it before, after something ugly happened. A man lured me to a guest house near Tema, used me, and disappeared. I walked out there with nothing but shame and a long road home. I swore I would never do that again. But poverty has a strong memory for promises you made to yourself. So I downloaded it again. This time, I was not looking for love. I want to be honest about that. I was looking for a solution, a deliberate, calculated solution. I was not interested in Ghanaian men who would promise you the world and never deliver it. I wanted someone from outside, someone who understood that a woman's responsibilities deserves to be taken care of. He was in his early 40s. He did not talk much at first, which I liked. Most men on this app talk too much and deliver too little. He was different. He asked quiet, careful questions. Are you eating well? Do you have people depending on you? What does your week look like? He felt like someone who had actually lived life. We spoke for weeks before we met. He was patient in a way that confused me because men are rarely patient when they want something from you. I noticed it, but said nothing. I told him about my brother. I told him about the pressure. I told him about the empty fridge and the mountain fees and the way I cried at night alone. He listened. He always listened. That alone made me trust him more than I should have. I mistook consistency for character. I mistook peace for kindness. I was wrong about both. When we finally met at Accra Mall, I dressed well. I wanted him to see that even in my struggles, I carried myself with dignity. He noticed. We had coffee, and I watched him carefully, the way women learn to do when they have been burned before. He was calm, composed. He made me feel safe in a way I had not felt in years. Then he said, let us walk around. I did not know what was coming. We ended up in a phone shop and was speaking with the attendant in a low tone, unhurried voice. I watched as he paid for 2 brand new iPhones, one for me, one for my brother, because I had mentioned once that my brother's phone was too slow for university work. He remembered. He paid without flinching. I stood there and felt something crack open inside me. No man had ever done anything like that for me before. Not once in my life. After the phone, he took me to a supermarket. 2 full trolleys. He pushed one himself without being asked. He told me he would also send money to my brother for upkeep. I sat in the passenger seat on my way back to Medina and thought, this is what it feels like to be chosen. This is what it feels like to matter to someone. He dropped me home and we sat in the car talking quietly. That was when he said 8,000 cities every month. I nearly stopped breathing when I heard the number. I know people with degree and Monday to Friday office jobs who do not see that kind of money. I said yes before I even finished processing what he had just offered me. Then he said there was one thing he needed from me at first. I waited. He was calm. He always stayed calm. That should have told me everything I needed to know. He wanted my used sanitary pads, not for something I could explain with logic. For work, he said. For something that would secure everything he was promising me. His face did not change once. I laughed because I thought I had misunderstood. He said it again, clearly. I kept waiting for him to smile or say he was joking. He never smiled. He just waited. I went home that night and told myself it was nothing. It was a strange request, maybe a superstition from his culture, maybe something I was too ignorant to understand properly. I reasoned it away. I have seen stranger things in Ghana. I grew up hearing the elders speak carefully about what people do in the dark with things that come from the body. I knew, OJ. But I pushed all of that down and focused on the number. 8,000 cities every month. My brother's fees, the empty fridge, the bills I had been hiding from for 3 months. I checked his phone while he slept shortly after. I went through everything. Facebook, his gallery, messages. I was looking for a reason to walk away. Some part of me needed one. The phone was clean. He had even sent my photos to his sister back home, asking what she thought. She called me beautiful. She said he would paint the whole family. They were excited. I read those messages and I felt real. I felt seen. That is the most dangerous thing he ever did to me. Not the request, not the memory, not the money. He made me feel real. I started asking myself what the worst outcome could be. He was not asking for money. He was not asking for anything that would leave a mark on my body. Just my pads. Used ones I would have thrown away regardless. What was the harm in giving him something I was already discarding? This is how I reasoned it in the dark of my room. My brother's new iPhone was charging in the corner. The fridge was full of food he had bought. I held those things in my mind and made my decision quietly. I know what sanitary pads mean in certain traditions. I am a Ghanaian woman. I have heard the elders speak about what bodily things can do when someone wants to tie your fortune to theirs. There are things done in the spiritual world that do not announce themselves. They arrive slowly. Like a man who fills your fridge and buys your brother a phone before making his real request. He was patient. He was the sign I missed entirely. Men who wanted your body move fast. Men who wanted something deeper, something permanent, something unseen. Those men are always willing to wait. He waited through weeks of conversations. He waited through a hotel night where he did not touch me. He was building something carefully. I understand that now. He was making me need him first. By the time he asked, I was already dependent, already grateful, already thinking of him as mine. He had arranged it that way from the very beginning. I just couldn't see it then. I gave it to him. I am not going to pretend I walked away or found strength I did not have. I was standing in my kitchen in the Medina with a plastic bag. My brother's university fees were in my mind. I handed it over. He smiled the same calm smile and only said thank you. Put it in a small bag he had brought with him, folded it neatly, and left. The money came the following week, exactly 8,000 cedis. No drama, no pressure, just a quiet transaction between two people, though only one of us fully understood what was being exchanged. My brother passed his exams that semester. I paid his fees myself for the first time without borrowing from anyone. I bought food. I cleared a bill I had been avoiding for months. On the other side, everything looked like it was finally turning around. I posted nothing on social media. I told no one where the money came from. I just quietly held my life together. OJ, he kept sending the money every month like clockwork, always with a small message, a question about my brother, a check on whether I had eaten. The same quiet care he pulled me into. I kept giving him what he asked for. It became routine, ordinary even. The way shameful things become ordinary when they are attached to survival and you have convinced yourself there is no other way. But something shifted around the third month. It was not dramatic. I did not wake up screaming. It was just a feeling, a quiet subtraction, like something inside me had stopped answering when I called. I would sit in a room full of people and feel like I was watching from nowhere, slightly outside my own body. I would look in the mirror and recognize the face, but feel nothing familiar. I do not know what he did with those parts. I do not know which shrine was involved or what was spoken over them in the dark. I cannot name it, but I feel it. I am a Ghanaian woman and I know that some things do not need explanation. Some prizes are collected quietly over time from a place inside you that has no name and no address. The 8,000 still comes. My brother is doing well. The fridge is never empty. By every measure the outside world used to judge a woman's life, things are better than they were before. I have a man who has never raised his voice at me, who asks if I have eaten, who bought my brother a phone without being asked, who has never, for once, asked for more than I agreed to give. And I have never felt more lost in my entire life. I keep telling myself it was nothing, OJ, just parts, just a ritual, just a man with unusual preferences. But at night, when the house is quiet and the city has stopped its noise, I feel it. The quiet subtraction, the thing inside me that used to answer back when I spoke to myself in the dark. The part that used to feel like me. It does not answer anymore. And the money, it keeps coming. This is your anonymous OJ. And if you are new here, I would like you to like, subscribe, share, comment, and hype this channel. And tell somebody about your anonymous OJ. I'll see you in our next confession.